I don't know how many people are getting Randy's Roundup. I've had a number of you say that. The best way for me to communicate for you right now, because things are happening so rapidly, is to go to randy.house.gov. Now notice I gave you a break and didn't say randy.neugebauer.house.gov. So surely you can spell Randy, but it's randy.house.gov, and on the very front of that website is a way to sign up for Randy's Roundup, and that's a weekly, every Monday, we send out a kind of a publication of what's going on. You can call 888-763-1611, or there is sign up for Randy's Roundup outside here. But I promise you this, we will try to get somebody to trace back where those, what counts they're funding those out of, and we'll get that information back.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, thank you for being here. My question is, why is it okay to take money out of my pocket in the form of taxes to give to someone else to have a card, this cash for clunkers? Now, the latest I've heard is that they're going to offer rebates for refrigerators. They can trade in a less efficient refrigerator and more efficient. What can we do to stop this the next rebate? It's getting ridiculous.
Well, that's the reason I voted against every one of those, is because, again, it's picking winners and losers. And I think about, well, all of the other businesses around the country that are having trouble moving their inventory, they didn't get the same kind of thing. And so, you know, if you bought a car before cash for clunkers, you missed out on it. If you buy a car after cash for clunkers, you missed out. And where do we start having other citizens that pay for their own cars start making down payments on other people's cars? But what I am also concerned about is, you know, stopping this paradigm where we think that every time somebody gets in trouble, if the airline industry gets in trouble or some other groups in trouble, people start relying on the government to do it. The government can't do it. We're borrowing every cent of money that's going out right now to do this, and then we're going to ask our grandchildren to pay it back. It's unacceptable. Yes.
Okay. My name is John Hopgood, and I work for Life Fund Center for Infinite Living. And every day, I have people come in my office that have been approved for disability, SSDI, and they do not have Medicare. They don't have it. There's a 2-year gap from the time you get disability to the time you get Medicare. Is there anything in the legislation going around to get rid of that gap?
You know, that's a very good point, and you know, I think that is something down the road that we need to look at, is that if somebody has gotten into the financial condition that they need that kind of benefit, and we've had, I think, a case that we worked where someone had to wait an extended period of time. I think possibly we need to look at a way to do that in a way that's appropriate, makes sense. And so I don't know if anybody's offered any legislation for that right now. I think Kathy is nodding that there may be a bill to. Yeah.
But another question, real quick. One more question about the community health centers, the local ones. Every time I try to give one of my consumers a appointment with them, it's a 2-month waiting list.
Yeah.
So that's not
good.
Quality option.
No. Yeah. You know, I'll check on that, because you know, we need to make sure. I'll tell you what happens is, you know, at certain times of the year they get overwhelmed. There's flu and stuff like that, and so I'm not defending them. They'll give you that. But thanks for bringing that to attention. Last question.
Don Castile, Randy, thank you for what you do. Tort reform's been mentioned here, but I never hear it mentioned in Washington. President Obama won't touch it. But aside from that, I'd like to know who or what writes these bills. We have suddenly, coming out of nowhere, a 1,000-page bill on health care, a 1,000-page or more bill on the bailout, with that big ambiguous language, verbiage that few people can understand apparently. I think it's written that way so that it can be interpreted any way you want to. But at any rate, what's this Apollo group got to do with it? President Obama, on another subject, has said numerous times that the cost of a government option would be, and all the rest of the costs associated with this, would be budget neutral. I don't know what magic he can perform with numbers, but one of the things that he mentions is $280 billion from insurance companies from Advantage plans. Does that mean that we will not be able to keep the health care we got if we lack it? Because it looks to me like a lot of people will be out of luck.
Well, and that's another issue that, again, as I said, they're taking money out of Medicare, and of course, one of the programs that they're talking about taking money out of is Medicare Advantage, which particularly in rural parts of the country is a very important program. It helps a lot of seniors. It's really interesting. A disproportionate number of African American senior citizens use Medicare Advantage, and so that's the reason that we've got to slow this process down. And I'll tell you, I was an accounting major. And when I started going through this, it was extremely difficult because not only, this is just the written part, but it refers to other parts of the code. And so if you had the other parts of the code that it's amending, it would be probably 3 times this. And that's the problem here is we put this together. I guarantee you some of the people that are sponsors of this bill don't understand the bill. And you know what, when you start changing Americans' lives, you need to understand what you're changing and how it's going to impact the consequences. And what I believe in this bill is there's a lot of unintended consequences. Well, I am very sorry that time constraints are going to have us call this to a close, but I'm going to come down to the front.
I want to speak to you.
I'm going to come down to the front and try to visit with a few of you before we have to leave. But what I do want to reiterate is a couple of things. We have a form that if you didn't get a chance to ask a question, we want you to fill that out. I want to take those your comments and questions back to Washington, D.C. I think I'm going to Xerox them and send them over to the President of the United States with a cover letter and say, listen to the American people. But before I close, I just want to say this. It is an honor and it is a privilege to represent you in the United States Congress. Every day when I walk across into our nation's capital, the symbol of freedom and democracy known around the world, we see that flag that so many brave men and women have given their life for, so that you and I had this opportunity today to have this meeting. I do not take that lightly. And I just want you to know that every fiber that I have is about making sure that every day I get up and represent the people of the 19th Congressional District, but also represent the people of the United States of America. And so God bless you. May God bless the United States of America.